Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. We're going to get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are slipping this morning, with S&P futures down 1.04%, Dow futures down 1.3%, and NASDAQ down 0.8%. Markets have fallen today as the spread of the Delta variant around the world threatens the global economic recovery. The dollar has risen higher along with Treasuries. Investors are now considering whether new lockdown restrictions will sap the economic rebound and reverse the equity rally. Anyone looking for cracks in the global recovery might be seeing the decline in Treasury yields as a signal, and it could put the responsibility back on the shoulders of monetary and fiscal authorities to support ailing economies even as inflation remains elevated. It's worth to note that at the end of last week, data showed that retail sales remained on the uptick in the U.S., but consumer sentiment unexpectedly declined as continued concerns regarding rising prices has led to weakness in buying conditions for big-ticket items. This week, another round of major earnings reports awaits, and although the hope would be that they'll provide support for equities, companies are clearly more focused on price pressures. Elsewhere in markets, crude oil is on the decline after OPEC Plus made a deal to increase output. Over in Europe, the Stock 600 index retreated for a fourth straight trading session, while banks, basic resources, travel, and leisure companies led declines across all market sectors. And over in Asia, MSCI's Asian Pacific gauge hit the lowest in a week, with both Hong Kong and Japan underperforming and technology stocks struggling. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Market updates. I'm seeing the market move low, then I see the market move lower, and now I see the market move even lower. It's been steadily dropping all morning long. It's not a abrupt one, but we are seeing it is a decline, and it's significant. Key catalyst here for this move lower is the elevated levels of coronavirus and the increasing concerns on inflation. You look over in Asia, and they started this slide this morning. Then we looked over to Europe, and European markets, they opened up down and they moved lower. They're now all down over 2%. You look at that OPEC news, Saudi Arabia and the UAE, yes, they did reach a compromise on oil production, and they came out in unison. They wanted to show that they are working together. We do have an agreement in place for OPEC production agreements, but you look at crude oil, it's trading lower, and WTI is hit under $70 a barrel. Goldman's still bullish on oil. They still feel that supply is going to be tight, and we're going to go right back up to $80 a barrel shortly. Key news story coming out this morning: United States and a coalition of its allies are going to accuse China's Ministry of State Security of a global cyber hacking campaign. This is in relation to the Microsoft hacking campaign. This morning's slide, I kind of feel like it's overdue. I do think it's going to be, more significant, that we're going to see more downward pressure than what we're seeing right now. I'm just hoping that just continues in a healthy manner. You got a lot of earnings reports due out this week, and earnings reports are typically the sort of thing that can turn a market around even in a downturn. So that's what I'm keeping my eyes on this morning, Shane.
Well, like we said, there's some major earning reports to see this week. So, Bill, tell us what we're looking at for earnings to watch.
Well, let's start out with what happened this morning. AutoNation, that's ticker AN, Apple Nancy, they beat by $2.25 on higher revenue. AutoNation really it was a good beat, good solid beat. They're really benefiting from the shortage in used cars out there, that people are buying them up as soon as they hit the sales block. Calmine Foods, that's ticker CALM, Charlie, Apple, Larry, Michael, they missed by 30 cents. And you see the stock is down 8.79% this morning. Tractor Supply Company, that's ticker TSCO, they beat by 27 cents on higher revenue, and they raised guidance. But you're looking at a real down market today. So, they're trading off 2.38% this morning. But they had a really very nice earnings report that I read this morning.
How about insights as far as upcoming earning announcements?
Yeah, got a couple really good ones coming out here. IBM's releasing this afternoon. International Business Machines, earnings per share estimate is $2.28. The expected move here is 4.59%. Steel Dynamics is also releasing this afternoon. That's ticker STLD, Sam, Tom, Larry, David. Their EPS estimates is $3.43. The expected move here is 10.19%. You look at JBHT, this is JB Hunt. They're also releasing this afternoon. The EPS estimates there are for $1.56, and the expected move here is 6.97%. So these should be good ones. We'll see what they come out with, how their earnings are released this afternoon, but they are three stocks to watch.
Let's go ahead and move into economic reports. Bill, tell us what we're seeing for reports today.
The economic calendar is rather light today, Shane. At 10 a.m., we have the housing market index. There's a lot of housing reports coming out this week, but the housing market index, which is not a major report, is being released at 10 a.m. this morning.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Johnson & Johnson, ticker JNJ. Johnson & Johnson is considering setting up a new company that would take on liabilities arising from litigation related to its baby powder product, then seek bankruptcy protection. Filing for bankruptcy could mean lower payouts for cases left unsettled prior to the filing. In other news, Gelesis, a biotherapeutics company with an FDA-approved weight loss management pill, is set to become a publicly traded company through a SPAC merger with Capstar Special Purpose Acquisition, ticker CSPR. The company's combined value is estimated at $1 billion and will trade on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol GLS. More acquisition news. First Radius is set to merge with ECP, Environmental Growth Opportunities, ticker ENNV, to become a publicly traded company. The company's combined value is estimated equity value of $1.4 billion. ENNV's share price is up 2.67% in pre-market. Carlyle, ticker CSL, is set to acquire Henry Company, a provider of business envelope systems, for $1.575 billion in cash. More acquisition news, and this is a bigger one. Shares of Zoom, ticker ZM, are down by over 3% in pre-open after the company announced to acquire a provider of cloud contact center software, Five9, ticker FIVN, for $14.7 billion. In contrast, Five9 share price is up 8.4% in pre-market. In other news, RPAI could be merging as a subsidiary of KRG, ticker KRG, with KRG continuing the surviving public company. Elsewhere on the tape, another potential takeover story. Ingersoll Rand, ticker IR, has made bids to make a full takeover of SPX Flow, ticker FLOW. The most recent cash offer was about $3.5 billion. In other news, Nevro, ticker NVRO, has received FDA approval of its Senza system for the treatment of chronic pain associated with painful diabetic neuropathy. Nevro now has the only spinal cord stimulation system approved by the FDA with a specific indication to treat the diabetes disease. The company plans to immediately launch commercially in the U.S., and Nevro's share price is up 5.43% in pre-market. News on AstraZeneca, ticker AZN. The company has gained approval in China for its treatment Imfinzi for first-line treatment of adult patients with extensive stage small cell lung cancer. AstraZeneca's share price is down 0.81% in pre-market. News on Dole. Dole intends to list its ordinary shares on New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol DOLE, and Hyzon Motors will be initiating trading on NASDAQ under the ticker symbol HYZN. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Well, Shane, I break my news alerts down into specific sectors. I'm looking for specific sectors on industries, and I'm looking for specific events that occur. I have a FANG alert that I watch every morning. And, one of them that's hitting on there is Netflix, because why they're releasing earnings tomorrow afternoon. Morgan Stanley's coming out and they're saying that they see risk going into this earnings results, while Bank of America is saying that 2Q earnings are going to be rather irrelevant and feels that, the third quarter guidance is really going to be the key to this quarter's earnings report. You look at Facebook and this, back and forth between Facebook and the government. President Biden's comments on Facebook on Friday followed, months of frustration, within his administration over the platform's handling of vaccine and misinformation. Facebook is coming out and saying that they're not providing misinformation. It's a story that's likely going to continue to gain ground, and it's negative for Facebook. You look at Apple, advertisers that were surveyed, they're seeing an impact on their return of investment from Apple's new privacy efforts, according to Wedbush Morgan. You look at Tesla, that's ticker TSLA, Tom, Sam, Larry, Apple. They're now offering customers the ability to subscribe to its full service driving capabilities, or FSD. They're going to be charging $199 a month for that software. Going into my Dow 30 CRM, that's Salesforce.com. The media is reporting that the Department of Justice has actually closed its investigation of the merger transaction of CRM buying out Slack technology. So that's a plus for Salesforce. You look at what you mentioned earlier in Johnson & Johnson, same thing that Philip Morris did when they lost all the tobacco lawsuits. It worked out well for them. Disney, ticker DIS, Space Jam, a new legacy that won the weekend box office with $31.7 million in its debut. Merck, that's ticker MRK, their pneumonia vaccine gets an FDA approval, which is nice. Looking over at the option headlines this morning, there are these options are getting interesting, in the tech stocks ahead of earnings. This is the week the tech stocks start to report earnings, so they are one to watch. And I'm really watching the 30-day historical volatility, and I'm seeing some interesting stuff here, like DocuSign. The volatility index is actually decreasing against its 30-day historical volatility, while Google and Twitter, their volatility movement is actually increasing against their 30-day historical vol. In terms of catalyst calls this morning, I see that Deutsche Bank put ticker DVA, David Victor Apple, on its catalyst buy list. Also, I've seen that the Citibank opened up a 90-day positive catalyst watch on Equitable Holdings. That's ticker EQH, Edward Quinton Harold. In terms of events today, the big one that I'm noticing is L Brands. That's ticker LB. L Brands is having not one but two investor meetings today. The first one starts at 8:30, and that's on Bed Bath and Body Works. And the second one is on Victoria's Secrets. This is the spinoff that they're doing. That one starts at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. But that's what I'm seeing for the hot news this morning, Shane.
Let's talk about our Trade Talk picks for today. I'm picking Five9, ticker FIVN, one that we spoke about. The acquisition story between them and Zoom, it's big. $14.7 billion to take them over. They're up quite a bit in pre-market, 8.4%. So this is something that I definitely could see making some more gains today. However, I think it's a kind of a tricky move we have to consider because it's a $200 buyout price per share in an all-stock transaction. So there's a correlation between Zoom's price and Five9's price in this. So every time Zoom downticks after the open, Five9 probably will too. So the question is, how far will Zoom go down? For us to be able to pick a good price, we have to really think about that. But having a low expectation on this one, I think a good buy-in price could be around $186 per share for Five9 and seeing it go up from there. So it's a tricky pick, and I think we have to really get the gains where we can see them. But I do see some potential for this one. What's your pick looking like, Bill?
Yeah, today's an easy day to short stocks, I'll tell you that. But if you want to go long something, which is what we focus on and we pick here, you got to look at price targets and what the opportunity is. I'm going with Verizon. That's ticker VZ, Victor Zebra. It's kind of a safety play because, if I can pick up Verizon at $55.50, it should turn around and become a winner today. I expected the market to push open and then for a reversal for Verizon because typically in most downturns, Verizon is like one of those stocks that's not going to get hit too much. Why? Because cable and cell phones are the last thing that really, people will cancel even during, a downturn of the market. So I'm really looking at Verizon. I'm looking to get in at 55.5. I also think, shares of CrowdStrike, CRWD are going to sell off hard in the morning. But, when Biden makes his announcement, you're going to see a little jump in the stock price of CrowdStrike today as well. But my pick today is Verizon, ticker VZ, Victor Zebra.
Well, let's talk about what's hot off the press. So it's the news that's hitting the tape as we speak that's going to move the stocks today. Let's get into it. Bill, which are the headlines we should be letting traders know about?
Alcoa, that's ticker AA, Apple. Goldman added it to its conviction buy list with a price target of $51.
News on Liberty. Liberty's to be sold to Monomoy for about $147.5 million cash, and that's ticker CODI.
So on Johnson & Johnson, the CDC vaccine committee is going to be discussing their COVID-19 booster doses. Now, there's a big question whether a third or a booster dose is actually needed. So we'll have to see what comes out of that. But J&J is really hoping for a third booster shot.
Here's another one on acquisition. Greenbox, ticker GBOX, is set to acquire Transact Europe for 30 million euros.
Morgan Stanley came out this morning and they said Microsoft is likely to benefit from increasing momentum in enterprise.
Ross Stores, ticker ROST, is adding approximately 60 new stores, and that'll be within 2021.
Domino's Pizza, ticker DPZ, David Paul Zebra. Domino Pizza highlights as top restaurant for underperformance during earnings season at a Stifel conference.
Apollo Medical, ticker AMEH, is said that its affiliate has agreed to acquire 80% of the fully diluted capitalization of Access Primary Care Medical Group. That's ticker APCMG. This one's interesting. Vimeo, ticker VMEO, is partnering with TikTok for video ads. Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing.
Same here. So that'll do it for what's hot off the press. Traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories we do by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Friday. I had Steel Dynamics, ticker STLD, which opened at $61.79 and had a bit of a downward day, closing at $59.88 for a 3.18% loss. But honestly, this was one that we were saying going into the earnings, we're going to see good results from the earnings itself. So I actually expect it to go up today after we get the release. So that's what we're looking toward for that one. So hopefully it goes well. Bill, how'd your pick end up doing?
Listen, it was a rough market on Friday. There's no question about that. My pick on Friday was Tractor Supply Company, which, as I said earlier, they beat by 29 cents on higher revenue and raised guidance. But on Friday, they opened up at $189.18, and then the stock rose to $191.69, or 1.33% higher. It did finish, it did pull back, and it didn't, pull back to near the opening price at 189. But there was a nice gain to be had in Tractor Supply Company on Friday.
Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.